Are you comfortable with paying for something you know nothing about? You pay your bills, you pay your mortgage, your loans if any, and I'm sure you understand what you're paying for. How about paying for your association's regular assessment? What do you know about your condo association? Hello, and welcome to the All About Condos channel, your go-to source for all things related to condos, brought to you by IKBEN'S International Realty. I'm Octavio Rueda, your host and condo consultant, here to guide you effortlessly through the challenges of buying and owning a condo. As the old saying goes, knowledge is power. As a condo owner, understanding the condo association and the components that make up the condominium and how they work together for the benefit of the community is empowering. Since the title of this video is Condo 101, let's start with some basic historical information about condos. Then we'll delve into how condos become condos, discuss how they are set up, and explore the role of condo associations in the maintenance and operation of condominiums, along with the important terms to know. Finally, I'll share some condo lifestyle tips and recommendations. Let's get started. According to an article written by Robert Durcham, the term condominium originates from Latin, with con meaning together with, and dominium implying right of ownership. Although the concept of individual ownership within a multi-unit structure initially surfaced in New York City in the form of co-ops in the late 1800s, the idea is attributed to the Romans and was formalized in Europe during the Middle Ages. The first legal framework enabling the creation and regulation of condominiums in North America was established in Puerto Rico in 1958, followed by Hawaii in the same year, and now every state has similar legislation. The prevalence of condos continues to rise in the US, with projections suggesting that by 2040, half the population will reside in a condominium. What makes condo ownership and lifestyle unique is the willingness to share what is typically considered as personal property, resources, and interests with the community at large. Therefore, specific laws and systems must be put into place to facilitate the sharing of community property and resources, leading to the creation of condominium laws. In countries where private property rights are protected and enforced, it's common to find many similarities among condo laws, regardless of the country or state. These similarities are even more pronounced in the United States, where nearly every state has either enacted condominium statutes or adopted the Uniform Common Interest Ownership Act. This act provides guidelines on how shared living communities such as condos, cooperatives, and planned communities should be managed and operated. As a result, nearly every state has similar condominium laws. It could be said that condominium laws are, for the most part, universal. They apply to all condominiums regardless of the state where the property is located. Individual states have the authority to establish their condominium statutes, which govern the creation and operation of condominiums within their borders. These laws cover everything related to setting up a real estate property as a condominium, the conditions under which it is sold to the public, and the rights and duties and obligations of all the parties involved in the building, selling, managing, and owning a condominium. One fundamental aspect of condominium laws is the requirement for all condominiums to have governing documents, which are also known as condominium documents. Condominium documents typically include the Declaration of Condominium, the bylaws, rules and regulations, and sometimes additional documents like Articles of Incorporation or covenants, conditions, and restrictions called CCs and Rs. These critical documents define the rights and obligations of both the association and unit owners, providing policies and procedures for the overall management of the condominium community. Condo statutes also designate governing bodies or institutions responsible for overseeing the administration and enforcement of all the rules, policies, and procedures outlined in the statute. For instance, in Florida, Chapter 718 of the Florida Statutes, known as the Condo Law, empowers the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the DBPR, to oversee the licensing and education of condominium managers, also known as community association managers. Moreover, the Department of Condominium Mobile Homes and Timeshares, a division of the DBPR, is tasked with ensuring that condominium associations comply with the law. The statute also sets guidelines that condo developers must adhere to before starting a condominium project and the conditions under which they can market and sell the units. In other states, the names of the statutes and government agencies may vary, but the hierarchy remains the same. The state statute takes precedence and is the highest authority. Statute 718 contains a wealth of critical information for condo owners, especially about the powers and responsibilities of the condominium association, as well as the rights and responsibilities of the owners. I'm currently working on producing a video that focuses solely on that statute. If you're interested in this topic, I encourage you to subscribe or check back with us soon. For the purpose of this video, however, I'll be focusing on the basics. Condominium associations are established as non-profit associations. This means they don't exist to make a profit. Any surplus from the current year's operating budget should be transferred and used in the following year's budget. To put it simply, condominium associations should only assess unit owners the necessary amount of maintenance fees to cover the total operating expenses on a yearly basis and fulfill the budget for the reserves, if any. The association comprises all the unit owners, each of whom owns a prorated share of the common areas and is entitled to 1 vote per unit owned. In new projects, the developer is the sole owner and hence the association and the board of directors until 75% of the units are sold as per Florida law. At that juncture, the association is handed over to the unit owners, who then elect members who will join the board of directors. The board of directors, granted powers and authority by the Declaration of Condominium, oversee the day-to-day operation of the condominium. The number of directors on the board is determined by the bylaws of the condo documents and can vary depending on the number of units within the condominium building or community. Generally, the size of the board ranges from 3 to as many as the bylaws will allow. For instance, I once managed a community of 916 units which had 21 board members. It's worth noting that the number of directors on the board is always odd to prevent a stalemate during a vote. The bylaws of the Condominium Association outline who can be on the board and the election process. Typically, elections for the board of directors occur at an annual membership meeting, where the board of directors is elected and become the official governing body of the association. The board of directors consists of 4 primary positions: president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, known as the officers within the association. Their duties and responsibilities are also outlined in the bylaws. Associations exist to serve their members. As such, the board of directors has a duty to govern and operate the association in the best interest of all the unit owners. However, it's unfortunate that some boards, despite their obligations, don't always perform their duties adequately. That's why it's crucial for unit owners to familiarize themselves with how condo associations work and the concepts and terms I will discuss next. As I mentioned earlier, the Declaration of Condominium is one of the official condo documents. Think of the Declaration as the association's constitution. It establishes the power and authority of the association, as well as the duties and responsibilities of the board of directors and unit owners. Therefore, all the terms and conditions within the declaration are legally binding on all property owners within the association. Note that since the condo documents are public record, any changes, including amendments to the rules and regulations, must always be recorded with the state. This is important to keep in mind, as there are many instances where the board of directors will make changes to the rules and regulations without giving proper notice. Furthermore, since state condo laws take precedence over the governing documents concerning the authority and power of condo associations over the unit owners, associations can amend their condo documents to grant more rights or privileges to unit owners than those established in the condo laws, but they cannot restrict, limit, or take them away. If a condo association oversteps its authority, state institutions with administrative power are in place to oversee condominium operations and enforce condo statutes. This offers recourse for unit owners who believe they have been wronged by their association. As I mentioned before, in Florida, the two institutions with administrative power over condominiums and their respective associations are the Department of Condominium, Mobile Homes, and Timeshare, and the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the DBPR. These institutions have established processes for resolving disputes that may arise between the association, board members, and unit owners. Next, I'll provide a non-technical definition of a list of condominium-related terms that you may encounter as a condo owner. Knowing and understanding these terms will help you make the most of your role as a member of the association and as a condo owner. Association official documents, not to be confused with official governing documents. These are documents generated by or available to the association during its operation. They must be made accessible to all unit owners except for private or personal information. Unit owners have the right to view these documents, and Florida condo associations are legally required to grant access for viewing and copying official documents. Examples of these documents include the association's financials, meeting minutes, vendor contracts, and a list of unit owners. Financial statements. These are documents that depict the association's financial health, which commonly include the annual operating budget, balance sheet, income statement, and the reserve budget if applicable. These documents are typically generated by the accounting department with the same frequency as the regular maintenance fees are paid. For example, if maintenance fees are paid monthly, financial reports are generated monthly. Well, I won't delve too deeply into these financial documents in this video due to the extensive coverage required. Understanding the financials is important, especially for investors buying a condo for rental income. I've produced a dedicated video about financials where I go into more details on these documents. For now, I'll produce a brief description of each of the financial statements. The annual operating budget is a financial document used to estimate the total revenue and expenses the association will need to operate during any given year. It's typically prepared 3 or 4 months in advance of the year it will be implemented and must be made available to members before being approved in a duly called budget meeting. The balance sheet is a financial document that provides a summary of the association's financial well-being. It shows the amount of money in the bank accounts, the outstanding balances owed by unit owners, and the association's obligations to vendors, service providers, and lenders. The income statement is a financial report that tracks all the association's income and expenses over a specific period, monthly, quarterly, or annually. While the types and amounts of income and expenses can vary between different condominiums, the majority of all association revenues generally comes from the collection of regular maintenance fees and, when necessary, special assessments. The reserve budget is a financial document used to allocate funds for major repair and maintenance projects. Typically, a reserve study is used as the source of information used to prepare the reserve budget and determine such things as the item's estimated total replacement cost, useful life, and remaining life of the reserve item, which are tracked on a yearly basis. Condo Association, COA. This term is commonly used to refer to the collective group that make up the association, namely the board of directors and members. It's important to note that although a condo is a type of home, the official and accurate term for the association is Condo Association, not Homeowners Association, HOA. However, the term HOA is often mistakenly used by mortgage lenders and title agents when referring to condo associations, leading to some confusion. As a result, it's common for people to use HOA to describe both types of associations interchangeably. Homeowner Association, HOA, refers to associations made up of owners of single-family homes or townhomes. Common interest community and association governed community are synonymous terms used to describe any type of property that requires the owners to be a member of some form of property owners association. Members of the association. As I mentioned earlier, anyone who owns one or more units within the condominium automatically becomes a member of the association upon acquiring title to the property. Members have the right to be present at meetings and vote on major decisions presented at the meeting. Members also have the right to vote in the election of and be seated on the board of directors if elected. The board of directors is the association's decision-making body composed of members in good standing elected at the annual meeting. The term of board of directors is 1 year, and with a majority vote, board members have the authority to implement and enforce the association's powers as stipulated in the condo documents. These are all the authority and responsibilities granted and outlined in the condominium documents, such as the power to establish and enforce rules and regulations, collect fees, charge fines, and enter into contracts, and the power to purchase or foreclose on units. Common areas. These are the areas collectively owned by unit owners and managed by the condominium association. They encompass the space beyond the individual unit boundaries, for example, between each unit's floors, walls, and ceilings, as well as the shared outdoor spaces defined as condominium property, like gardens, parking lots, and recreation facilities. The association is charged with the maintenance and upkeep of these areas. A limited common area refers to any space within the building that is reserved for specific use or for the exclusive use of a unit or certain members. The balcony is one of the most commonly designated limited common areas. A unit refers to the habitable space within a condominium that you purchased and received title for. It encompasses all the space within the floor, walls, and ceilings. Keep in mind that the unit balcony is not officially part of the unit and is therefore not commonly included or described in the property title. The Master Association is the main or controlling association within an association-governed community that encompasses multiple associations. The association under the Master Association are referred to as sub-associations. The Master Association has its own governing documents that the sub-associations must adhere to, in addition to their own condominium documents. Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions, CC&Rs, is a term that's often used to refer to the governing documents of a master association, just as the term condominium documents is used to refer to governing documents of a condominium association. This term is also used to refer to an HOA's governing documents. Meetings. There are 4 primary types of meetings that occur in a condo association: annual meetings, budget meetings, regular board meetings, and special meetings. Annual meetings require mandatory 60-day notice for membership. Board meetings, which are administrative in nature and where decisions are taken, require a minimum of a 3-day advance notice to the members. Special meetings are called for situations that are, as the name implies, special. Quorum refers to the minimum number of members required to be present at an association meeting to render the proceedings of that meeting valid. The regular maintenance fee, which is commonly paid monthly or quarterly, is used to cover all condominium expenses. The amount is determined by dividing the annual budget by the total number of units in the community or building. The portion of the fee that each unit pays is either divided equally among all units or determined based on the ratio of the unit size, with larger units contributing a larger portion. Lastly, assessments, often referred to as special assessments, are charges imposed on each condo owner for special situations such as unforeseen or unplanned projects not accounted for in the annual budget. These usually arise as a result of required emergency repairs or budgetary shortfalls. In the next section, we'll conclude the tutorial with some recommendations. Know the rules and regulations. It's essential to know the rules and regulations. It's part of living in a community and being a good neighbor. Besides, if you knowingly violate a condo rule, ignorance would not serve as a valid excuse. As the saying goes, ignorance is no excuse, especially when you've signed an acknowledgement of receipt of these rules and regulations, which is typically included in all the condo associations' application packages. I've had situations where I had to issue a $100 fine to new residents, often merely 2 or 3 days after they purchased their condo, because they failed to dispose of their trash correctly during their move. Attend at least 1 or 2 board meetings, preferably the annual meeting if you can only attend one. It's crucial to familiarize yourself with the board members and their meeting conduct. Observing them in action will help you decide whether to vote for them in the upcoming election. Remember, the unit owners who comprise the board will be the individuals administrating and controlling the building and the community's finances. Ensure you read the association's official administrative notices whenever they are displayed. Register your email address with the association to receive these notices electronically. Try to stay informed about the activities, improvements, or any changes occurring within the building or community. When in need of service, always submit your service request in writing, ideally via email or the association's website if available. Electronic submissions are preferable because they are instantly received, date-stamped, and you can keep a copy, eliminating any doubt about when it was sent. Keep your contact information such as your mobile phone and email address updated with the management office. It is vital for the management office to be able to reach you easily, particularly in the case of emergency or if your unit will be unoccupied for an extended period. Keep in mind that many condominium associations require you to provide a copy of your unit's entrance door key for emergency situations. Flooding, particularly in older buildings, is one of the most common emergencies in condominiums. Well, that concludes our tutorial. I hope it has helped you gain a better understanding of the unique aspects of condominium setup and functioning. If you're interested in learning more about condominium ownership and navigating potential challenges, I highly recommend exploring our videos on the All About Condos channel. We have curated a broad range of informative and helpful content to enhance your condominium ownership experience. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned owner, there's always something new to learn. So don't forget to check out our channel and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest content. Thank you and God bless.